John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, is remembered as the man who led the U.S. to a new frontiers. The youngest individual and first Catholic elected to the American presidency, he molded a sweeping civil rights bill, launched the peace corps, promoted the space race, and negotiated a nuclear test ban treaty during the hottest year of the Cold War. Also memorable were his successes in promoting arts and education, confronting corporate power, and expanding health insurance and public welfare legislation. Behind that public career lay John F. Kennedy, aka Jack, the private man. It was no coincidence that the son of a powerful, politically minded father, surrounded by bright and talented siblings, became an ambitious man, with a sense of family loyalty and commitment to public service. Nor was it surprising that his attentive, highly educated mother helped develop his quest for knowledge and appreciation of history and the arts, and awareness of being a global citizen, and the willingness to accept the consequence of his deeds. Clearly, the character being Kennedy's public action was influenced by his childhood in Brooklyn. The president was born in the twin bed near the window on May 29, 1917 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Back then, women were more often to give birth at their own house rather than going to the hospital. On the far wall are the traditional 6 months picture of John Jr., Jack, Rosemary, and Kathleen. The 4 out of 9 Kennedy children were born in this house. According to Mrs. Kennedy, the dining room is the most important room in the house. It is a room for children to learn manners and debate when they grow up. Until they are old enough, they are not invited to join the adults. Instead, they will have their meal on a small table under the window, just as the photo shows here. Mr. and Mrs. Kennedy like spiritual table talk. In order to do that, they would pose questions outside the dining room. They were questions like, please describe the origin of San Francisco, or short history of Spanish colonization in North America. Or maybe the other night she might choose a current political debate that each child has to pick a side. Soon the dinner will engage a spiritual and competitive debate. So we can see from here, early in JFK's life, the family tradition have already equipped him well with skills a good politician would need. Besides his oratorical skill, JFK is also known as a speed reader, which could be also traced back to his early childhood. It's not news that JFK was in poor house much of the time. When he was a child, he spent much of his time in the nursery room. Back in 1970, you couldn't give a sick kid radio or television keep him occupied. You can only give him a book to read. JFK's favorite book during that time was King Arthur and His Knights. According to Rose Kennedy, she spent a lot of time reading and entertaining the children here in this room, particularly when Jack had scarlet fever in 1920. The parent influence on JFK is also noteworthy, which will help explain who he was and explain how he became president and the personality brought to the office. Both of his parents came from a political family. His mother, Rose Kennedy, was the daughter of the mayor of Boston, and she was the youngest graduate of her high school as well, Dorchester High School. This picture shows she received high school diploma from her father. She was a very precocious, smart, intelligent, and ambitious young lady who was actively involved in his father's campaign as well. JFK was named after his grandfather, as we can see from this photo where his grandfather was participating in one of Wilson's events. So we can see it is a really well-connected family. Even in such early time, they have connections with both US president and British aristocracy. And his father, Joseph Kennedy Sr., was the youngest bank president in America during that time. He was also well known as a politician due to his high-profile position in United States politics. He was appointed 3 different positions under FDR administration: the head of Security and Exchange Commission, director of Maritime Commission, U.S. ambassador to UK from 1938 until late 1940. His style of parenting is very interesting. He has affection to the children, and children really adore him. He's like a rock star father. He knew a lot of people and celebrity, but at the same time, he was very strict. He told his children Kennedys never cry, and he wanted only winner and no losers in the family. A fearless, competitive man, and taught his children to be like that as well. He really pushes a lot on children, encouraged competitiveness. So when his political career fades out, that he focused on making his kids president someday. He basically pushed it on his first son, John Jr. But after John's death in World War II, JFK was picked up the expectation from his family and paved his own way into politics. To sum up, combining all the factors together, his family legacy, his family wealth, constant challenges from illness in childhood, his perseverance, speaking and reading skills, his charms, and international influence from his family, it is no wonder that JFK became the man who he was. Though his life ended tragically on November 22, 1963, leaving a man and a vision in midstream, John F. Kennedy left an enduring legacy. Quote, all this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. In your hand, my fellow citizens. More than mine will rest the final success or failure of our course.